Hello everyone, welcome to another Narc Survivor live video. In this one I'm going to be discussing a very important topic, which is about why the narcissist can't let you go. Because clearly, at this point, you must have realized that you're clearly looking for very different things. They're not looking for what you're looking for. And that's how you end up feeling disappointed, dissatisfied. Your needs aren't being met. Because clearly they're not interested in a healthy reciprocal relationship. And yet they can't let you go because they need you for something. Because although they're not interested in healthy reciprocal relationships, their primary focus is on meeting their own emotional and psychological needs, and often at your expense. So they rely on you to fulfill their sense of self-worth and to maintain their fragile self-image. They depend on you for constant attention, admiration, and validation. This is known as their narcissistic supply. This supply reassures them of their importance, and it keeps their self-esteem intact. Without this supply, they feel empty or unworthy. And also, they can't let you go because maintaining control over you gives them a sense of superiority and dominance. It makes them feel powerful. So for them to let you go, that means they would be letting go of that power, which is inflating their sense of self. And although outwardly they may seem confident, even arrogant, beneath that is actually emotional dependency. They're actually emotionally dependent on you to regulate their inner turmoil. They use the relationship to project their insecurities outwards and to deflect their feelings of inadequacy. So these are reasons why they can't let you go. And especially their fear of abandonment. Because beneath their facade, they actually fear being abandoned. They fear being seen as unimportant or feeling unimportant, which is why they will cling to toxic relationships, because they dread being alone and losing that source of validation. They need that ego reinforcement. By keeping you attached or invested in them, to them that serves as proof that they are desirable, powerful, or superior. Especially if they've got someone of a high caliber, a high value, who is attached to them and invested in them. Then to them that means that they must be something great. While if they were to let you go, then they wouldn't feel so desirable, powerful, or superior. They need to keep you attached and invested in order for them to experience that. So them not being able to let go really has nothing to do with love or genuine connection. And it's got everything to do with their need to bolster their fragile, dysfunctional ego. And when you recognize that, it will make it much easier for you to leave them. If you're finding this video helpful so far, give it a thumbs up. Let's get it out there so that more viewers will see it as well. With an narcissist, relationships are transactional. They're primarily focused on what they can get. They don't really care about what they can give. So your satisfaction or happiness does not matter to them, because their priority is always themselves. So even if you express dissatisfaction, they're not going to address it directly. Instead, they will just dismiss it, deflect it, or they will even just blame you, because your feelings just do not matter to them. It comes secondary to them maintaining their sense of control, admiration, or superiority. That's what matters most to them. And that's why they just don't care about your feelings or your needs. And this is why they have this lack of empathy, because they're focused on maintaining this sense of control, admiration, or superiority. And this makes having a healthy reciprocal relationship with them virtually impossible, because they have this inability to care about your needs. And this is why relationships with them can feel one-sided and draining. In most situations, having a reciprocal relationship with a narcissist will be impossible, because they don't have any empathy and they lack self-reflection and genuine emotional connection, which are qualities that are essential for a balanced, healthy relationship. But what you can try with narcissists is to communicate clearly, be direct about your needs and feelings. They may not prioritize them, but clear communication leaves less room for manipulation or misunderstandings. And you can also leverage mutual interests. Because if the narcissist benefits directly from cooperation, then they are more likely to engage in reciprocal behavior. But however, this will often be conditional and transactional. So, trying to maintain a relationship with a narcissist will come at the cost of your emotional well-being, among many other things as well. And this is why it's important to evaluate if this relationship is really worth the effort, or if it aligns with your needs and values. Because in most cases, the best thing to do really is to prioritize distance and disengagement. That's what's going to be healthier for you. Because although they can't let you go, it's not because they genuinely care about you as a person. Their reasons are self-serving. You provide them with a narcissistic supply. They rely on you for validation, admiration, or attention. Losing you would mean losing this supply, which they need to maintain their self-esteem. Holding on to you also allows them to maintain control over you. Letting go would mean losing that power, which then threatens their sense of dominance and superiority. And the relationship may also serve their public image or give them status. So they may hold on to that to protect their reputation, rather than because of genuine attachment. And it's also convenience and utility. They see you as a tool to meet their needs, whether it's emotional, financial, or practical. They hold on to you because it's convenient and beneficial for them. It may feel like to you that their inability to let you go is a sign of caring, because that's how it may be for you. But their actions are motivated by how you fit into their needs and desires, not by genuine love or concern. However, they are masters at making people think that they do care. They're masters at making people think that they do have a healthy relationship. They're highly skilled at creating this illusion that they care and that the relationship is healthy. And this is just a part of their manipulative nature. It's rooted in their need to control and maintain their desired image. And they achieve this through love bombing. At the beginning, they overwhelm you with attention, affection, and praise, which creates this false sense of a deep connection. It makes you believe that they genuinely care. And let's not forget that many narcissists are often incredibly charismatic and persuasive. So they say and do just enough to make you feel valued, even if their actions are ultimately self-serving. They also engage in gaslighting. They manipulate your perception of reality to make you doubt your feelings and judgments. As an example, they may dismiss your concerns or spin situations to make you believe that everything is fine when actually it's not. And then there's their public persona. They work very hard to project an image of a loving, caring partner in public, which makes it harder for you to recognize or explain the problems in private, as other people may see the relationship as ideal. And they also engage in intermittent reinforcement. As a strategy, they give you small doses of love, attention, or validation, which keeps you hooked and hopeful for more. It's a cycle of dependency, which makes you believe that the relationship is worth holding on to. And then if you confront them on it, they may just play the victim. They may feign vulnerability or claim that they care deeply but are misunderstood. And they use this tactic to elicit sympathy and to divert attention from their harmful behavior. And it's something that all narcissists do. They all do the same thing, because they don't want to let go of that power that they have over you, which gives them a sense of superiority. It gives them attention, validation, and admiration. And this is why they want to keep you stuck in this cycle of dependency. And of course, it's going to be very effective on you, because you may be a relatively healthy person, so they can exploit your natural human desire for love, connection, and validation, because they understand what people want in a relationship. So they mirror those qualities temporarily. It has to be temporarily, because it takes a lot of effort, a lot of energy for them. It's kind of like if we try to pretend being narcissistic, it would be very difficult for us to do that. It would drain all of the energy out of us, because it's not our natural state. And it's the same thing for narcissists. For them to mirror what we want, it takes a lot of energy out of them, and they can only do that temporarily. And even when they do it, it's only to gain your trust and control. So by understanding this, it can help you to see through the facades and to recognize what's really going on. It may be painful to accept, but even when it seems that they care, it's just another strategy to serve their own interests. It is all a facade. Nothing is real with a narcissist, other than our hurt, loss, and disappointment. And of course, when they're angry and miserable, because that's the real them. Most of what they present to the world is just a carefully constructed facade, and is designed to manipulate and control people. The real consistent parts of the narcissist are their underlying anger, dissatisfaction, and emptiness, which they try to mask with charm, confidence, or blame shifting. And they do it because their facade serves their agenda. Everything they do, whether it's them acting loving, apologetic, or supportive, this is all designed to meet their own needs, not to create genuine connection. It's all about maintaining control, protecting their ego, and keeping their supply intact. But remember, what is real is your pain. The hurt, loss, and disappointment that you feel in the relationship with a narcissist are very real. They do leave a trail of emotional destruction, and it's because they lack the capacity for genuine empathy or accountability. So they dismiss your pain as unimportant, or they even blame you for it. But yes, their anger and misery are authentic. When their facade slips, that is when you begin to witness the real person underneath. During their moments of anger, frustration, or unhappiness, because you're dealing with a deeply insecure and unhappy person who's simply projecting their own inner turmoil onto you. And their anger isn't about you or the situation at hand. It's more to just an expression of their constant dissatisfaction with life and with themselves. They were already like that long before you got around them. They were already that way. Well, as for us, of course, it was the opposite. We were much happier before we got involved with them. And typically they are aware of that, and that just irritates them even more. Because they struggle to form real, meaningful connections. They fear vulnerability. They view relationships as tools rather than mutual bonds. So there's always an absence of authenticity, and that's what causes the relationship to feel hollow over time. But you know, it can be incredibly painful to have to realize that so much of what you believed in was just an illusion. But the truth allows you to break free from the cycle so that you can then start prioritizing your own healing and well-being. Because think about it like this, I mean, at least they devalue you before they discard you, or before things then get worse, and then you start waking up to it. Because otherwise, just imagine if they were that confident, charming, charismatic, loving, caring character all of the time. I mean, how could we ever walk away? How could we ever escape? Recognizing the truth is what allows us to break free from the cycle. And this is why typically those, the more high-level narcissists, the ones who are more experienced, when you start slipping away, then they come back with a love bombing. They try to go back to how they were before, because they know that all of that devaluation and pushing you away will make it very difficult for them to get you back. But it is all fake. Yes, they may pretend to be lively and happy as though they actually want things to be better. And they are experts at doing that. They're experts at being optimistic when it serves their purpose. But it's all just a part of the facade, and the facade is a part of their manipulation and self-preservation strategy. They project this false persona to protect their ego, because they fear being seen as flawed, weak, or unhappy. So they pretend to be upbeat and content to shield themselves from the shame or vulnerability that they so deeply fear. And this facade allows them to maintain the illusion that they are in control and superior to you. It allows them to manipulate your perception. When they're appearing lively and optimistic, it helps maintain their image in your eyes. It can even disarm you and make you second guess your feelings, especially if you are questioning their behavior. So if they seem enthusiastic about improving things, you may then feel compelled to give them the benefit of the doubt, even if their actions consistently prove otherwise. And of course, this is very effective on empaths who are very loving, forgiving. They don't tell to hold grudges. They typically believe in what they say, and they want to believe that other people is just as loving and caring as they are. They want to believe that. So it's very effective on empathetic people. And this is why it may be very confusing for you. This pretense of positivity may create cognitive dissonance, because on one hand, you're seeing their harmful behaviors, and then on the other hand, they're acting as though they genuinely care and want to improve things, which can trap you in a cycle of hope and disappointment. It can keep you waiting for the better version of them to emerge, when really you've just got to accept the truth about the situation. If you're finding this video helpful so far, please give it a thumbs up. If you just joined, thank you. You just got to accept the truth about it. Yes, they may show this lively and happy demeanor, but it's often just hollow and performative. Yes, they might make grand promises or temporarily act as though they want things to be better, but these gestures are rarely ever sustained. And it's because true change requires self-reflection. Rather than disconnecting from self or using someone to bolster up their false image, their fragile, dysfunctional ego, so that they can get a sense of power and control and superiority, attention, validation, and admiration from you. True change requires going within, self-reflecting, connected to yourself. And then by doing that, you will then have empathy for other people. They will then have empathy for you, and they will be able to take accountability. They're not able to do that because they don't introspect. They don't go within, they don't self-reflect, they have no connection with their true selves. If they did, they would immediately begin to heal. They would immediately, well, maybe not immediately, but eventually they would be able to have empathy for you, and they would take accountability for their actions. But these are traits that narcissists typically lack. And this, the reason why there's no empathy and no accountability, the reason why there's no introspection, no self-reflection, the reason for all of this is because they are in denial. They're not connected to reality. They're not connected to themselves. They think there's something else. They think there's something so much greater than what they actually are, when they're not. Because if they were connected to their true selves, they would be more focused on accountability and having empathy for you. So this is how you know that they are disconnected from themselves, and this is why they want to get you disconnected from yourself. They would impose a false idealized character onto you, or when you start to see through it, they will devalue you. And it's funny because people wonder, it's like, how do you get the narcissist back to the love bombing, and why aren't they complimenting you anymore? Why aren't they loving you like they used to? It's because you never bought any of that anyway. It's because you never believed in it. That's why they take it away, because they're seeing through it. If they thought that was going to work on you, if a narcissist thinks that you're going to be susceptible to their manipulation, they're not going to stop doing it. They're going to keep going with it. They're going to keep trying. The only reason they stop manipulating you is because they know it's not going to work on you. A narcissist will do whatever they have to do to get a reaction out of you. Whatever's going to keep you under control, whatever's going to maintain their sense of superiority, whatever's going to allow them to dominate you, that's what they're going to do. The reason why they stop doing it is because you see through it. You no longer believe in their lies, their illusions, their future faking. And that's where they change. We have the power. We initiated the love bombing through our belief. And then through our lack of belief in the love bombing, we then initiated the devaluation. And through our lack of belief in the devaluation, we then initiate the discard. And if we start to forget about it, if we start to heal and move on, we may then initiate the hoover. So we initiate all of it. We have the power. And that's how you never see the narcissist engage in love bombing or try to manipulate you when you're already aware of it and when you see through it. It just doesn't happen, because you're the one with the power. You're the one who is in control. You're the one who initiates everything. It's all determined by you. You control what happens. They're just reacting to you. They just react to the external environment. And they just do whatever they think is going to get them a reaction, whatever is going to work for them. But you already, at some level, have to be on that same wavelength. You have to be on that same frequency of love bombing in order for them to be able to manipulate you. You have to be open to it. You have to be accessible. You have to believe in it. The belief gives it power. It allows it to continue. It enables it. And same thing with the devaluation. You have to be on that wavelength already. And even though sometimes it may seem shocking and surprising when they devalue you, when they discard you, but most of the time, I mean, you likely already had your suspicions about them. You likely already viewed them as questionable. You likely already saw something wrong with them before that. So in many ways, we initiate this through seeing through the facade, through seeing who they actually are. Because otherwise, they're just going to keep going the love bombing. They're just going to keep manipulating you. I mean, as long as they're getting attention, validation, and admiration from you, why would they stop? And as for negative supply, I mean, it works for them when they're with another narcissist, because then they can keep up that image with them through targeting someone outside of the relationship, because another narcissist, another fake, manipulative, abusive person just like them is going to go along with it. They're going to bond together over someone else's destruction. And they're still going to view each other as perfect, as faultless and flawless, as though nothing is wrong with them. But likely, when you saw the narcissist doing that, you didn't approve of it. You weren't happy about it. And that's when they then turned against you. They devalued you. And this is why, with their enablers and flying monkeys, this is why they tend to support the narcissist and they don't turn against them. Because they may already know at some level that if they see through the facade, if they wake up to it, then the narcissist is going to turn against them. They're going to become a negative source of supply for the narcissist. And I've seen this in the past. I've seen it happen. I've seen flying monkeys become a source of devaluation simply because they questioned the narcissist. They held them accountable. They didn't fall for the gaslighting. So this does happen as well. Although it is actually quite rare, because, I mean, that's the whole point. With enablers and flying monkeys, they have no backbone, they lack the courage. That's why they're all born together in their groups, targeting people, abusing them. I mean, of course, you know, that's something that cowardly people do. That's not something that strong-willed people do. But yeah, this is why they can't let you go. It's all their self-serving motives and interests. It's all about themselves. It's never about anyone else. It's all about their narcissistic supply, their attention, validation, and approval. It's all about their power and dominance over you, because it provides them with a sense of superiority. And, you know, just think about that. Why have they got to do that? Because is it because normally they can't get attention, they can't get validation or approval from you, they can't get admiration? Is it because normally they wouldn't feel superior to you, they wouldn't be dominating you, and that's why they have to go out of their way to do that, so that they then get a sense of superiority where otherwise they wouldn't get it? So all things to take into consideration. And, you know, this is really why they're so self-absorbed, why they're lacking empathy, because deep down they just feel like they're nothing, despite the outward confidence, and this is why they're emotionally dependent on you. This is why. But again, we're going to take a little look at the live chats. As always, when I first begin the video, I do see all the troll comments, and then it just makes me want to turn it off, and so that I don't have to look at it, because it's just so disencouraging, so demotivating. I mean, you've got to think a lot of these trolls don't want to be exposed, and maybe they're benefiting from keeping people asleep. But for me, I mean, I'm definitely benefiting by waking people up. And that's why I continue doing what I do. Because not only does it benefit you, it benefits me too. It helps me by waking people up. Because I'm on that wavelength myself. In truth, realness, being genuine. What serves you serves me. And what serves me serves you. but it definitely does not serve the narcissist. Toyota says triangulation is the thing I hate the most that narcs do. Oh, I've done plenty of videos on triangulation. They do it because they're jealous and insecure. I mean, how they're trying to make you feel about yourself, that's typically how they feel already. Even though you may be on your own, even though you may be down, you may feel depressed, they're looking at you as an observer and they're feeling jealous of you. It's projection. How a person treats you is a direct reflection of how they feel about themselves, as within, so without. So however they're trying to make you feel, however you do feel after engaging with them, that's how they want you to feel, and that's how they already felt. And then they robbed you of your energy and emotions. They robbed you of your characteristics. They got that from you. Steady Pace says they are paranoid. Yes, I think I've done a video on that as well. Narcissists are paranoid and hypervigilant. They are very paranoid. I mean, it's because of what happened in their childhood. And, it's really a traumatic response. They're always paranoid that we're out to get them, especially us, especially good people, empaths, because that's what happened in their childhood, isn't it? It's they may have had one narcissistic parent or maybe two narcissistic parents in some cases. But narcissists, they often present themselves as being very kind and loving and caring, nurturing in the beginning. And then they reveal the true self beneath the mask. So narcissists may view us as having this duplicity as well. And of course, when they push and provoke us, that's what they see from us. Because if you provoke someone, they might get angry. They might not be happy with you. But to them, that confirms their suspicions, and it tells them, regardless of how much they provoke you, regardless of how much they do to you, in their minds, that tells them that was already in you. That was already you. That was already going to be you. You were already going to treat them that way. It's like they can't understand that, no, it's because you're being constantly provoked. That's why you respond that way. And who knows, in some cases, with their parents, it could be that they were just very toxic as a child, and maybe they provoked their parents. That could happen sometimes, although if they're a narcissist, then it is likely that they do have one parent that is a narcissist as well. I'm just hiding all the degrading comments. All the trolls come here to get their narcissistic supply. It's funny how they do this when I'm already talking about it as well. It's like I've already explained how, these types of people, they can't let you go because they're seeking attention, admiration, and validation from you. They're emotionally dependent on you because they're fake people. They can't introspect, they can't regulate themselves. And that's why they dominate and they seek a sense of superiority, because inside they feel inferior. I mean, of course they will when they've abandoned themselves. Narcissism Exposed 101 says, I think they are the biggest clowns on this planet. Well said. They really are. I mean, it's all because they're afraid of themselves. They're afraid of being judged for who they are, being exposed. Deep down, they just hate themselves. And that's why they are the way that they are. That's why they do what they do. And really what they have to do is just get over themselves. I mean, all right, their parent rejected them in childhood, they were neglected or abused, they felt like they weren't good enough. There's no reason just to abandon yourself or bury yourself. Just get over it. I mean, we all have flaws. We all have insecurities. We all have things we don't like about ourselves. We've all been rejected. I've been rejected thousands of times. I'm still being myself. I'm still being authentic, and I'm never going to stop. So what this comes down to is weakness. They're just really weak people, and they need to get over it. And, unfortunately, they get themselves to a point in life where they've done so many things wrong in an attempt to cover up their tracks and to cover up who they actually are, their true nature. They end up screwing up so much that it's like they can't ever go back. Because many narcissists, I mean, if they were to come out, if they were to take accountability, who knows what consequences they would face for that. It would be like something like P. Diddy. Many of these narcissists, they would be in so much trouble. They might be facing like multiple life sentences. So it gets to a point where it's like they have no choice but to hide. They have no choice but to never be themselves ever again. Well, as for us, we've been kept down our entire lives, and it's like, when we realize our true power, when we realize our true worth, then it's like all we want to do is just be ourselves. We don't want to go back to being this false character that they impose onto us. Whether it was this idealized golden child character or the scapegoat, either one is still fake. It's so much better just to be ourselves, because as 50 Cent once said, that's where we find our true power. It's from being ourselves. And that's what I always liked about 50 Cent. Of course, he's always been a really good rapper. But one thing I can say about him is he's always been real. He's always been authentic. I think he grew up in New York, and he really just he worked hard. He grinded. He worked his way up to get to where he is today. And of course, he's had his ups and downs, but he's done quite well for himself. But yeah, I really like that quote by 50 Cent. Thanos Post Malone says the projection thing on social media killed your argument. It proves the other points right. Can you expand on that, please? I'm not sure what you're talking about. I didn't mention anything about social media in this video. Debbie is wondering how to deal with a drinker. I know if this is someone close to you, you may want to help them and support them through that. But really, these types of things, it's best not to be dealt with by a partner or family member. These types of things should be dealt with by experts and professionals. So, that's just it. You don't deal with a drinker. That's not your duty. It's not your responsibility. You need to refer them to a support group, Alcoholics Anonymous or something similar. Because that's where they're going to get the right support. I mean, we cannot help these people. We can only guide them to the right direction. where they can get the right support. I mean, of course, you can comfort them, you can give them emotional support, but you have to be careful, because you may end up becoming an enabler, and they may end up exploiting you for that, and it could harm you. Xander32 says, I think they know they have karma come in and creates the fear. Yeah, I've spoken about that. I think that can be it sometimes. They do fear what could happen to them, you know. They're paranoid. Amanda Surrey says he used to have posts on Facebook about narcissists. Said he hates them. He is one. Was that projection? Yes, I would say that that is a part of the projection and blame shifting, and I've seen that before. It's that you know, they'll demonize certain people and look down on them, when what's going on is they're actually that themselves, or they like the idea, the concept of it, of going around abusing and exploiting people and getting things you don't deserve. They may associate the certain emotions that they've concocted within themselves with other people's experiences. So it's kind of like a projection. It's kind of like a form of identification with it as well, or an idealized form of identification for themselves, where, as an example, you know, you could write a comment on one of my videos about how a narcissist exploited you, whether it's sexually or financially, and that may spark something in a narcissist. And it could be something where it's something which, you know, it provokes them and makes them want to do that. It makes them want to get something from someone. Or it may also bring up shame if they've already done that. If they haven't done it, then it's going to motivate and encourage them to do it. It may make them feel jealous though someone else is getting it, but if they've already done it, then it's going to be more shame, as though they're being exposed. But yeah, I mean, you know, there are a lot of these vigilantes, and usually that's what they are. Many police are like this as well. They act like, you know, they can't hate, they hate these types of people, when actually that's who they are. And they project, they blame shift. It's like they hate themselves through someone else. And also what you'll find is that these vigilante type of people, they're not focused on making people better. I mean, the way you should think is that, okay, if you hate narcissists, why don't you do the right thing and try to make them better? Instead of trying to destroy them or ruin their lives. And yet this is what these vigilante type of people do. And it's all because they view other narcissists as extensions of themselves, and they hate themselves through those people. It's because they don't want to acknowledge their own shadow self. They actually see a part of themselves in those people. And people like that, they should take accountability. They should see that it's a part of themselves and they should do something about it. But instead they don't. They deny it. They project it onto someone else. Lady Q Inspires says, even when you move on from them and they have a girlfriend, they still can't let you go. Yeah, that will happen, even if they're married, if they've got children. Even if they took you for granted and just discard you like you're nothing, they typically will try to hoover you back in, even if they're married and they've got children. Or they may idealize someone else who they believe is similar to you. And this can happen decades later. Because it's still unresolved, there's still unfinished business. And that's because they don't give you closure, they don't take accountability. So it leaves it open-ended. I like that one. Hazel Oldham says he thought he was the Joker, but just a clown. Yeah, that's it. It's kind of like because they've screwed up and they can't get the attention, admiration, validation, or the sense of superiority that they really want. So then they just try to become this all-powerful villain instead, who just tortures people. It's like that's the only way they can get anyone to pay any attention to them. For myself, I'd rather just continue being happy and healthy and getting positive attention from just being good and helping people. Because that inspires me to grow and to continue doing what I do. And even if I've got no one, nothing, I'm still gonna continue doing what I do. I mean, because I have internal motives. I have my own beliefs, values, and principles that are not going to be influenced or changed just because other people don't value that in me. I'm still going to keep going. But this is what narcissists are like. They will just change at the drop of a dime. They'll become something completely different if they're not getting the attention that they want. There's just no true character, no self. Amanda Surley says, yes, clowns, and they think they have the right to punish us. Yeah, usually this goes back to their childhood. Their parent treated them that way. They project these traits onto us, they provoke it in us, and then they want to become the judge, jury, and executioner. They want to be on the other end of it this time. Really, they're just trying to punish themselves through us. But yeah, I hope you found this video helpful. I hope you got something out of it. If you did, give it a thumbs up down below. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Donations are greatly appreciated, no matter how small. Still waiting to change my AdSense account. Google is very slow, so I'm still not earning any ad revenue. There's no ads on any of my videos. And even this Christmas now, I'm not going to receive any income because of this. But I have been receiving some donations, and I greatly appreciate you for that. I appreciate all donations, no matter how small. You are welcome to donate to my PayPal, which is paypal.me/Narc Survivor. You can also book a one-on-one with me by going to my website. It's narcsurvivor.co.uk. And follow me on my Instagram. It is Narc Survivor YouTube. Thank you all for joining me on another Narc Survivor live video, and I will talk to you soon.